que lo encuentro muy galante y lo quiero conocer. Sobre el trovas fascinante yo me las quiero aprender. De la lona, sí señor, grande sangría, esta tierra soberana, Hagman que son de la loma, de la Santa Rellana, sí señor, vámonos.
All right, all right. Hello, everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera, and this is the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, episode 154. And you just saw an amazing video by Yamule Dance Company and talking to our special guest tonight. But before we get started, just want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Tuba Chata Radio. You can also catch us on Spotify and other streaming platforms. And today, we have the amazing honor of having all the way from Yamule Dance Company, the one and only Molly Hagman.
Hi, so
Hello,
excited to be
hello, Molly.
here.
Yes,
Hey.
before we get started, that performance with from Yamule, I believe that is Bahari,
Yes.
from being correct. That was on fire. That was at the Empire Mambo Studio. Oh man,
Thank
just
you.
seeing that routine, just seeing the people gives me so much joy and just excitement about dancing coming back. But most of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today.
Yes, of course. Thank you. I'm really,
Definitely.
really, really ready and excited to get this
Absolutely. I mean, of course,
going.
we've seen this video here of a performance recently, but here at the podcast, we focus on uh, going a little deeper, helping people understand the artists that they love, understanding their journey of where they came from. Many artists, like ourselves, we have different experiences coming from different countries at times. It's a really following our passion, which is dance, ultimately, a lot of the time. So here at the podcast, we love, of course, celebrating your success currently. But I think it's so much more important understanding who Molly is as the human being, not just Molly from Yamule, but Molly the person. So really, as I love starting, kind of give us an understanding of who Molly is before it all, before the performances, the costumes, the dancing. Really, who is Molly?
Ooh, Molly is a it's a girl that's well, how do I start? Like
We're
happy
going back. We're
and
talking about like
yeah,
right before on you put on your dance shoes, like
yeah,
life
like just
before, like
every day,
yeah,
like how I am like outside of what you see on the show, basically, right? Yes.
Absolutely.
So I would say very. I'm a little mixed. Like I'm in my own bubble a lot of the time. I'm very in my thoughts and thinking a lot and always trying to work on myself and on what I'm doing and improving and perfecting and thinking and also thinking about the differences between my inner world and other
Hmm.
people's inner worlds and how we kind of yeah, how that kind of intertwines in all reality, basically. So I'm very kind of in my little zone, but at the same time love my people. Like I'm happy and fun and little special in my special way, like kind of a yeah, like a unique little personality. But once you get to know me, yeah, that's usually when, because I think like just from the observer eye, if you do not know me already as a person, I might be perceived maybe as a little, maybe it was more before in the beginning. I'm working
Hmm.
on it, but maybe as a little cold or like the European, like very like strict, like, like,
Yeah.
huh, um but it's something I'm trying to be aware of and work on, because on the inside it's not like that. I'm very much open heart and stuff, but I think it's also a combination with like not shyness, but a little, I'm a little held back maybe to kind of,
Yes.
I'm not that extroverted,
Yeah.
throw it all out there at once, but I first kind of observe and see how the situation is around me before I kind of, and this, but especially with my people, like the people that know me, where I can feel trust and comfort and where I could feel that I can open myself up and be me. I'm a very, yeah, I would say like loving, kind, a very thoughtful and just yeah, genuine person that's trying to do my best and be my best and be like a nice energy to have around, to kind of just spread like a lot of, I've always tried to focus on positivity and kind of good vibes and like
Yeah.
and yeah, and giving that
Absolutely.
out.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because as we've talked as well, privately understanding kind of your background, how, you're from Sweden originally,
Mhm.
and then, you told me as well, this dates back to like really the early 2010s in a sense, maybe
Mhm.
10, 12 years ago for many people who don't know, is understanding, that salsa just wasn't in the States. It was also in Europe. And it's interesting that you talked about Europeans because I've had many European artists on my podcast that have told me the same assumption or
Mhm.
perception that people have. It's really that coldness. I think really it's more about being observant.
Yeah,
And of course, a
agree.
lot of times people can say, and I've had people tell me here that when they see a lot of people from the States, they're really like jovial, really happy, really
Mhm.
energetic. And sometimes it's just really more about people being guarded rather
Yeah.
than anything else. But like you said, you coming from Sweden, going to, I would say, dance classes there, of course, and gaining that knowledge and then, moving along. So a question I have is, what was it like for you, your first dance class? And many people don't also know is that you're very well versed. It's not just you're a salsa dancer. I would just say
Mhm.
you're a dancer, but I would say give us more understanding of, your trainings from early on.
Yes, absolutely. So that's kind of exciting. It was actually my best friend from back home, like from school when we were younger,
Hmm.
that she was like, kind of as a like after school activity. She's like, oh, I'm like, I'm starting taking dance classes at this dance studio in Malmö, which, because we are from a smaller city, Skåne and Falsterbo,
Hmm.
which is a little bit outside of Malmö, which is the third biggest city in Sweden, which is a bit more known of, so to speak. And that's kind of where things go on. Like if you want to go do things like dancing, take class, like it's, you kind of go towards there. So she was like, oh, I'm gonna start taking dance classes at Malmö Dance Academy, which is my home dance studio, my beloved, yeah, where everything started for me, basically, and where Bella Malekian is the dance school owner, and
And
where
she
it
dances
was
with
with her.
Mariano.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and it was over there where everything started. Now with salsa though, because everything started with actually some other style. I don't. How would I? What would I name it? I think at the time this course because my friend, as I was saying, Philippa, she was telling me to go and start taking this dance course. It was just once a week, like a semester, and it was called Pussycat Dolls style, something like that. So it kind of was
Oh
like just
yes.
feminine dance, like early,
Hmm.
for teenagers. So we kind of went. Kind of my first dance experience. I think I've only tried out dance like at some other place, but I wouldn't kind of. It was just some testing thing, but this was the first real thing where we got into it, and I loved it. It was super fun. It was just like Bella. It was kind of, I guess, it was her energy as well that really got me even more attracted, because she was not only lifting dancers up, but as people, she was literally
Mm.
seeing everyone and like encouraging them as people to be like, oh, let's like sharing each other on, and just that whole atmosphere where you could be
Yeah.
open. And because already as a person, like especially at that age when I was younger, because I started in 2009, and so I was like 12, 13, no shit, I gotta count 90. Yeah, like 12 or something. Yeah, so yeah, around that age. So I was kind of introvert. Like I was held back in that sense, that I didn't
Hmm.
want to show, like, be that like all out there, like
Yeah.
just show how who you are, and like. But Bella really encouraged you, and it was such a safe atmosphere and place. Like it was like really like a dance home. I really always will see it at that as that for me. So that's where everything started. We just did one class like that semester, and then we did like the end of the term kind of like a dance show. And
Hmm.
after that, the next term I was hooked. I took like 20 classes, like all whatever they had on the schedule. I just signed up for everything and started training all styles. So now it wasn't just this girly fun dance to like the popular Pussycat Dolls music at the time, but now I also started with more technical dancing like ballet and jazz, contemporary hip hop. And Bella at her dance studio, she has so many exotic styles as well. So I was doing belly dancing, Persian dance,
Mm.
Bollywood, pole dancing, like very fitness, like athletic type of training, and basically, yeah, everything between heaven and earth, like literally. But a lot of focus and emphasis on, yeah, on more like jazz contemporary, because I wanted to really become a better dancer. So I noticed from the beginning that I needed to focus on technique and those fundamentals, also
Hmm.
together with everything else that we were doing. But yeah, literally, that's where everything started off at Mama Dance Academy back in 2010, I would say. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, because most people now that I know, most dancers that I know, they can't even think far as back as 2015 in a sense. And,
Yeah.
just you
Right.
having that experience, especially from abroad, not just from
Mm.
a state side, I think is really important. So, a question I now have is, when did that introduction, or how did that introduction go for you into, as they call the New York style, the onto style? What was that like for you? Your first experiences seeing this and kind of giving you that motivation to come stateside?
Yes. So that kind of emerged out of Bella wanting a performance team for salsa, because at the studio they had like a class, like a Latin mix type of dance class, which was a mix of salsa and samba and like everything, just like, yeah, carnival style, like
Yeah.
for solo dancing. But then in 2012, so now I've been at the studio for 2 years dancing, and then at that time she wanted to do a lady styling performance team, which is called Bellacitas, that are still active and representing Heart in Sweden.
Hey.
So yeah, she did like an audition for at the dance studio, where myself, Maddie, and oh no, it was just the two of us. We're the OG Bellacitas. So we got picked to do that with her. So we started learning a salsa choreography, but this was on one lady styling, very
Mm.
LA style, energetic, like
Yeah.
styling where everything all over the place, and which was super fun and super hype. And it was my introduction to salsa, period, like salsa
Hmm.
dancing, just learning the basic step. And then we took this to our first congress, which was in Copenhagen, Denmark, in 2012. We performed at their salsa congress over there. I think it was the first or second year for that event. And that's where I really fell in love, because I got to, of course, the experience of being on stage was amazing, but I had that already before from being at Malmö Dance Academy, and we were performing a lot at
Hmm.
different events, but other styles. But this was in the purpose of salsa, and then seeing all of the other performers, the headliners coming after, and really see like, oh wow, shit, this is really what salsa is about. And like when you dance in couple, and all of the things they did, like the partner work, the turns, and the tricks, and then also just being at the dance floor, like social dancing. And I was a beginner in terms of, yeah, lead and
Yeah.
follow social dancing. So just everything that I saw, I was looking around and it looked like 10 showtimes going on at the same time. I was like, how do they even know like what the guys trying to lead? Like how, like it was just, it looked too advanced. I'm like, how can they know? I don't
Yeah.
understand. I was just in awe, and I just wanted to learn right away and become great. And also taking all of the workshops like from all of the artists like at that time, I could just, I just fell in love, and I just got addicted right away. Like, this is what I want to
Mhm.
do. So I just took that with me home from that Congress experience, like the workshops, and just try to learn. And then every other opportunity we got to travel to another Congress in Europe. We went to quite a few, like in Copenhagen and in Germany, Berlin and Hamburg and Croatia.
Wow.
And every single time we went, I literally was taking all the workshops, social dancing all night, just trying to practice and learn. And I was so in love with it. It was so much fun. Like, I really felt this is my passion. This is what I love to do. So that's where I got introduced. And for it to turn into the stateside,
Yeah.
because I was still like Europe, Sweden, still back home, and just traveling off from Sweden to go to congresses here. But in 2015, I decided to do a dance education, which took me also to Los Angeles, because it was in Copenhagen, but we did a 3 month like exchange over in LA, where we were dancing at Millennium Dance Complex.
Wow.
But I used my spare time to dance salsa. So apart from the training that was more hip hop, commercial dance and contemporary and that type of styles, I went off. We rented cars, so I just went off to all of the socials all over LA, that area, and just dance, 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 because it was such, that's what
Yeah.
I wanted to do. And I was also training with Shani Talmor, because she had her team when she was based in LA over there. So I did the
Hmm.
Shani girls for a month or two, and just try to train with everybody that were in LA at the moment. And then I came back home, finished off the education in Copenhagen, graduated 2015, went back and worked, made some money, and then I was able to make it to New York in 2016, when I started Broadway Dance Center. So always when I've been trying to pursue salsa, it's always also been through dance. I've been doing some type of other dance education, which I know
Hmm.
would benefit me forward with my career. So I was doing Broadway Dance Center, which they have an international program for the students to come and do 3 months, 6 months a year of education. And also next to that, I was going straight to Yamule, and also dancing with a lot of other big people here in New York. So that's how I got here.
Wow. And then, of course, like you said, you then go and taking classes at Yamule. So now the question is, as we transition kind of forward now and your workings with that, what would those experiences like of going to the studio, those initial practices, and then, you starting to grow within the company?
Yeah, so it was like, it was amazing. Like, just first off, coming, yeah, from Sweden, and the little experience that I've had of Yamule had been at congresses taking the
Yeah.
workshop. And already there, I was like, yo, this is, I love the challenge, because I love everything that challenges me. If it does not, I move on, or I seek other opportunities to push
Hmm.
myself to develop. Because if I feel like I'm sufficient or good at something, no,
Yeah.
I want the next challenge. But with Yamule, I was always like, whoa, this is like, yes, I need
Yeah.
more. I need more. And then coming actually to New York to then go to the studio and start taking class. It was just like a great, great training, and nice experience. I really loved it, because I could really go in to class and just zone in and like soak it all up and pick up the material and train, and do the shines and the partner work, and really try to learn and improve
Hmm.
on myself, and have that in focus, rather than being distracted by whatnot. Like in New York, there's so much things that you could like get distracted of, like the New York life, or like going out, or whatever that might pop up, but nothing could take my attention or distract me
Hmm.
from going there to train and keep on going, keep on going. So when I came in February 2016, and then I just started taking class. I took
Yeah.
class over there for like 6 months before I joined Bayari. And at the same time, I was also, I wanted to, I was fresh blood into New York City. I just wanted to like get an experience with everybody. So I went with
Yeah.
Editor Senior because I obviously knew like from Bella, who had danced with him and performed with him,
Hmm.
like he's like, the king. So she was always, whenever we also traveled, me and Bella to New York, like young, like when I was younger, we did some dance trips as well. We always went to his classes and stuff like that. So I knew I wanted to experience that. And also with Franklin Diaz, I
Hmm.
really love his style. So I trained with him for a good 6 months also, and tried everyone, Karel and Grisel Pons. I just wanted to get the experience of the New York scene and the New York dancers
Yeah.
at the same time as I felt like my goal and my passion and what I want a long time pursue is Yamule. But I got to train, and then I got the opportunity to start with Bayari in
Hmm.
the end of August 2016. And that's when I really committed. And from there on, it's like no sidetracks, like no. Then I'm tunnel vision. Now it's
Yeah.
only Ambole. Like here's where I lay my focus and continue with all of my training and all of my classes. Because I got the diversity at Broward Dance Center. I was still a full-time student there, dancing 18 hours per week. So I will get all of what I needed for ballet and jazz, hip hop, blah blah blah. So I didn't feel like I needed to go nowhere else. Like it's only Ambole, only those classes, and the rehearsals, because I had so much to soak up and so much to learn from not
Hmm.
being experienced in partner dance. I just had like the eager and the will to learn and the passion and the love for it, because I loved social dancing so much. Like from Europe, that's like such a big thing, as you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Like we all love it, so it was like, yo, I want to do this. But now it became more on a different level, more technical, more, yeah, which I kind of related to a lot, because
Hmm.
at Broward Dance Center, my concentration was ballet, and I could really see how that structure and how you can kind of, you always work your fundamentals with like the bar exercises, and then how long time it takes to perfect yourself to really become like a a top dancer as a ballet
Yeah.
dancer. You got to dedicate so much. Like there's no stop and no, yeah, I could kind of relate that system to like the Yamule system in the salsa world, because nowhere else you
Hmm.
would have this discipline and structure to be able to make it and move your way up. So that's a little of the start over there.
Absolutely. And it's interesting here we have a question from my boy Adrian
Mm.
Montanez saying, "What was it like performing with La India at the New York Salsa Festival at
Oh,
Barclays?"
you recorded us.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for the video. That one is popping. I love the effects. No, it was super cool. That was like a highlight. I will never forget it still. It was 2019, if I don't remember wrong. Not 18, 19. Oh, sorry, I don't want to say nothing. But it was in at the Congress. It was,
Hmm.
whoa, one of the most amazing experiences, because it was a gig from Osmar from Yamole, and he needed like three dancers to go and do that. So I got the opportunity together with Barbara and Anna to go and dance with La India. So we used some shines from the Oficio Yamule routine, and we
Hmm.
put on the Bayari costume, the pink and white first Ritmo de Cuba show, and it was just so amazing. Like seeing the audience, like I have never performed at an arena like that with that much people and in front of La India. It was just it was huge. It was
Hey,
amazing.
so you just
I
got
I still look back at those videos and pictures and be like, yo, I'm blessed. Like that opportunity was everything.
it's
Super
true. I mean,
exciting.
in our dance community, I can honestly say, especially New York, but really globally, Yamule is the institution. It's where people go if you want to get the optimal premier training, you go there. And one thing,
Mm,
something I've noticed as well for years is there's two different types of dancers in the scene. Ones that are gonna just want to socially dance and have fun. Then there are those that are gonna want to take classes more and more, train in order to start performing. And
mm,
realizing, especially in Yamule, people have to understand it's not just taking one or two classes. This is you have to be dedicated and go to multiple classes a day, really dedicate your life schedule to this because it's not just you, it's many other people doing the same thing, and the results show. I mean, from the performances, and even as well as we'll get into now, before we get into our last segment called the randoms, something I've admired and I've talked to you about is especially during COVID. especially the initial phases and going through the year, with many dance schools closing. But at one point, things are opening up, and seeing visuals of you, people like Jonathan, uh, and so many of us from Yamule, Barber, and so many of us now putting their classes on Instagram and things like that. And I think that was really important because most of the time, a lot of schools don't want to film classes, don't want to film their demos and post them because it's usually for the people that are there. But I think it was really important seeing people and artists like yourselves doing these classes, giving us some entertainment because for a while people were looking for that. So, my
Mm-hmm.
question to you really lastly is what was that like now of, when things were getting a lot better, you're able to go to rehearsals and practice and now your work is being posted almost instantly as you're doing this class. Did you kind of see what did you kind of take away from those experiences of now your work is not just a performance, is you showing off some moves? Was it a different feeling for you?
In terms of teaching, you mean, like, and
Yeah,
and
just
showing, like,
now on a teaching level because people can come to your class, but now you're being able to showcase your class for a
mm,
larger audience.
exactly. No, that's like a beautiful experience, and it feels purposeful to be able to share in a bigger way, more than just to who, obviously whoever is able to be there in person. But no, like, literally, in Yamule, for us, first off, to be able to get the honor to teach, it's for me like a privilege, because I look up to, like, going back to Karel, and then, like, all of the big amazing dancers coming out of this company, that I'm like, whoa, like, to just be in their class is like, you know it's amazing, and, like, kind of dream come true to be able to learn from these people, and then to have the opportunity to be there in front, and able to share what I have as a dancer, and my essence and way of moving and dancing, to share that with the now, like, the next generation, and the people that are in Yamule, and in the studio at this moment, is it's just like surreal. It's beautiful. I'm so grateful, and it's really exciting, and it brings another depth and purpose to
Hmm.
what I'm doing, like, and and yeah, and everything that I'm working for, like, from looking back for where I started, like, back home in Sweden at Malmö Dance Academy with Bella, working and dancing for, already then it was intense. We did like over 20 hours per week, like,
Mm.
just in classes, and then we also had rehearsals for our different performance teams. It was all it's been from the get, like a all or nothing commitment, like a passion
Hmm.
combined with a purpose, and something bigger. I know this is just what's meant for me in my life, and what I want to do, and to get the opportunity to, whenever, yeah, whenever the opportunity arises, to, like, for instance, sub for the lady styling class in
Yeah.
Yamole, or teach any opportunity I do get to teach. I'm very honored, and I'm very happy and excited for those
Hmm.
moments, to be able to really give it my all, and share a little piece of me and what I have, to put my tweak on the Yamole technique that we use, but to give a little something of me to it.
Yeah.
So it's been really great. And now also to be able to do it, now we're doing it, like, virtually on Saturday. So everybody who would like to can, sign on, and go and do it online as well, to be able to spread it even further to all of my peeps in Europe and stuff. So that's even more exciting. And thanks to technology, it's like, yo, amazing things that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, yeah, in a sense, I'm grateful for those things that have propelled us forward with
Absolutely. I
that.
mean, kind of brought many people out of their shell in a sense because
Mm,
sometimes you're so focused on just learning, but having the opportunity to look at yourself. Because I think a lot of us, we say we really are our harshest critics. So it's
yes.
like,
Hmm.
constantly watching our visuals and seeing what we can do better. But I think too, also having that moment of just like stepping back and just saying, wow, I'm doing something that's impacting not just the people in my classes, but the people around me. So
Mm.
that's something I really appreciate. And I think now it helps us transition to our last segment called the randoms, which is about 10
Ooh.
questions that I have that will allow me to get to know you a little bit better. We'll talk about some dance related topics and other things in between. So, Molly, all I need to know is when you are ready.
Now I'm ready right
All
now.
right. First one, we're gonna do a softball question. Uh,
Hmm.
Tell me your favorite color.
My natural instinct said purple,
Okay.
although it's like I don't even like. I would say favorite black, but purple
Okay.
was like I think that's my childhood favorite.
Okay. I mean, as you grow, things change. So I definitely appreciate.
Yeah,
And black goes great with everything. So I
right.
mean, purple not so much at times. All right. Number two, if you could have one last meal right now, what would it be?
Oh, yo, damn, how to pick. Not literally, because I'm so in love with everything seafood, vegetables. I would have a beautiful from like one of my favorite Italian New American restaurants, like a beautiful seafood dish. I would love to mix everything from beautiful scallops with a nice
Hmm.
piece of fish with some other nice shellfish and seafood prepared in a delicious way with some beautiful vegetables, maybe like a nice cauliflower puree with some now you'll
All
find
right.
out how much I'm into food. Like I'm a food lover. That's my other side thingy, except from dancing. I love food and restaurant experiences. But yeah, something delicious with vegetables and seafood, beautifully
Okay.
prepared.
A lot of thought went into that answer. I love it. All right, number three. Now, the question, I need you to just answer the question. It goes like this. If Molly is not dancing, she is doing blank.
She's in the park tanning, working out,
Yes.
stretching, doing a run, listening to a podcast. I'm obsessed with podcasts now. That my the one I'm doing right now a lot is Ed Milet's. I've
Mhm.
literally listened through all of his episodes almost. So podcast in my ears, down at the track, walking, taking some sun, laying down. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, I love it. Love it. All right, for a person who hasn't visited New York, can you give them your honest opinion if somebody says, "What is New York like?"
Yes, it's like really depends where you go. If you go to the like the touristy, you will get one vision. But if you do my life type of what New York is for me, it's nothing. But I would say you will get a lot of, you gotta be able to get down and like don't be afraid of dirt. You will get the New York not so clean. You will have
Yeah.
to, it will smell certain smells, and you'll see weird stuff on the ground and like some animals here and there,
Yeah.
and people you might see considered like crazy people that are
Oh yeah.
very talk to themselves, and they could like semi attack you. You just got to be in your zone. You just got to adapt to the New York vibe and like just portray that like nah, it's not going to get to me. And then you'll see like a beautiful jungle of big buildings and amazing
Mhm.
lights and a lot of people and a lot of life and a lot of opportunities and a lot of great people and happy vibes, and like people in the streets could be like yo, like it's a mix of everything. You will just experience a lot of adversity and good and bad and beautiful and yeah, everything basically.
Okay, I love it. I love it. All right,
Mm.
number five. If you could be at your how should I'll reword it this way. What is one of your all-time favorite congresses, socials, or events that you've ever been to? Just one event that when you close your eyes, it's the first thing that comes to
Oh,
mind.
easy, easy, easy. Because yes, it will be Salsa Beach Splash Festival in Croatia. It's a
Oh.
little it's a little colored by my first experience like in
Hmm.
the going to congresses and festivals because I was a newbie, but it was amazing. We went to I think it was the first or second year of the Salsa Beach Splash, and yo, I was in love. Like they had like an outdoor social on it was called like I don't know. It was just super nice. They had a DJ playing. People were dancing in their bikinis and flip flops to proper salsa. And then we had like the pool where they did on the last 2 days, the pool party, like with just ankle high water. People were dancing, doing animations, and like just drinking pina coladas in the pool. And I just went with my family, like with Bella and Maddie, like the Bellacitas team,
Yeah.
because we're so close and we're so good friends and so open. It was just so much fun. And the congresses, no, sorry, the socials at night were in
Hmm.
a big white tent with nice floor, good DJ, like the breeze of the wind like passing in, and we danced until the sun came up 6 in the morning, and then like just breakfast at the hotel on the balcony and the workshops. All it was just like the best experience for me as a dancer at that time, being like
Hmm.
new beginner and with my girls. It was amazing. Had a good time.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Next one, number six, is what is your one of your all-time favorite performances throughout your whole life? Name one performance that really just gets to you when you think about it.
That I performed or that I've seen,
I
like
would say
for
that
others
you performed.
that I performed. Well, number one. Ooh, this is a tricky one. Damn. Because we've done like all time favorite. Because I've done so many Bayari shows, so for me to distinguish one of them, it's like, yo, because I gotta think back from like when I debuted in 2017 to, and then now I would. Oh wait, let me think. Wow, you got me on this one because now I'm like thinking like my
Mm,
closest memory with my Yamule shows, like everything I've done with the company, and now recently, since like just the last month or so, that's when I really have gotten the opportunity to dance with the pro team.
yeah.
So it's super new and fresh for me. So therefore, those experiences have felt absolutely amazing, like debuting the new cha-cha routine, Frenesy,
Hmm.
which was the first, like, the official word debut of the show, which we did at the Yamula anniversary. That was like an amazing experience because I went in with so many mixed emotions of like nerves and pride to be able to dance with a pro, like, and going on and represent and just feeling like, I want to live up to this and like, what I've always like that was it's so much emotion built into it. So
Hmm.
that's why it feels like a favorite performance. But then when I also think back to back in the day, like what I did with Bella and our different shows over there. Um, like, yeah. Ooh, you made it
You
hard for
see?
me to really pick
No,
one there. Yeah.
it was on the
I was
spot,
like,
but
ooh.
I love when I ask that question because you can really see artists like yourselves that think back and it's like that
Mm,
history, like, you definitely have that experience. So, hey, I mean, for many people, they say every performance is memorable, but there's always that
mm.
one that really gets to you. So, of course, like you
Yeah,
said,
but actually, as the question with the La India thingy, that's actually
mm,
I would say one that's always gonna be very special, and because there was so much excitement, we didn't feel
yes.
like pressure, nerves, because we were dancing like just us girls, like shine. So I could really feel like, oh, it's not technically like I'm gonna mess up. Like, you could really be in the present moment and experience it and really dance it out and take in like that one for sure, one of the tops. But also the ones we've been doing now lately with like Bayari and
Hmm.
Pro when it's a technically very difficult routine. So you go in with a lot of like an athlete, like, yo, this is game time. Like we're about to like, so you really need to be very focused in the moment, not let your thoughts distract you. Because then if something slips, you need to be it's kind of like you need to be so mentally like meditative state, like
Hmm.
super zen and reactive. And because that difficulty and like how much goes into executing a show like that, then it feels even extra rewarding once it turns out, well, and it gives you even more of like a reward afterwards when it's goes in with some pressure and built up,
Hmm.
stuff. So yeah, so it's hard to really pick.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so since you talked about food, this next question, number seven, goes: if a friend of yours from the States, from New York, is going to Sweden and they say, Molly, I want to try something that the Swedes eat, the locals eat, what is something that you're gonna, recommend for them?
I would first off always say like no matter where like if you go to Sweden, our traditional thing is like the Swedish meatballs with the mashed potatoes, lingonberries, and the gravy sauce.
Hmm.
And that's like an all-time, just like world known thing. Like you gotta just eat that. And then I would say also, um, actually more like not sweets but baked goods, like our Swedish cinnamon rolls to me are the best. No, sorry, they're good too, but the one thing that really I think like is whoa, it's our, I don't know if there's an English name for it, but it's called like lussebulla, saffron
Hmm.
buns, I would say, which we use like we eat in Christmas time. For me, it's the best thing in the world, so I would really say to try that and try. We have a lot of like it's maybe not everyone's palate, but certain like sea like herring
Yeah,
and those
pickled
type of
herring.
pickle herring and like those feel like another fish like seal, which we It's another like oily fish that they put like breadcrumbs on and pan
Hmm.
sear, serve with mashed potatoes and also some pickled cucumbers and lingonberry. Like those are more traditional, like old school food. I don't like it so much myself, but I mean, if you go to Sweden, try it out.
Yeah.
But for
Okay.
sure, try the meatballs with the mashed potatoes and lingonberry. They're delicious.
All right. All right. All right. Next question, number 8. Give me a fun fact about Osman.
Fun fact. Uh, fun fact. Fun fact. Osmar.
Or what is something
Uh,
that Osman does is just like signature for you that you just know
yo,
like that's Osman.
that's Osmar. He's gonna be like, yo, whenever he gets excited or like that, like in practice, like maybe
Hmm.
he's in the creative zone and he's like, we're he's preparing like a new routine and he's really like, oh, and then something comes out like to the music that he's like, oh, that was so good. He's gonna be like, soy el mejor del área del Caribe, tú supiste, and he's gonna say like these little things like super hyping. He's like, yo, like I'm the best, like literally in the Caribbean, like and like literally like he just like yes, smart, like do something for us. He's like, oh, smart, like that was really good. Like he's like a nah, he's exciting. He's like he does those little things like when he has his little phrases that you're like, yo, that's so smart.
Hey, I love it. I love it. All right. Next question is you're at one of your favorite socials right now, and you can only have one person to dance with. Who's that person?
Ooh, wow. Because I love like what's the question both like okay, so my favorite social, I'm at that social and then I could just dance with one person.
Just it's the last
Yeah.
song you can dance with
Huh.
one person. Who is it?
Ooh, difficult. I really love to dance with yo, just one person. You make it hard for me. I would mm, wait, it's coming, it's coming. I'm really just analyzing. I'm imagining the dance floor like who would I be like, yo, let's dance. Uh Yo, I always have like dancing with Manny is always fun because it's like a
Okay.
challenge and you gotta really be on point. So I would take a dance with Manny, but also with Tico. With Tico, like if he's always fire, like to have a dance with. Also Maximo, we have like a flow. But
Mm,
for me to pick one, like ooh, I would have like a use the song and I'll do like a little trio. I have a little
okay.
part with
Yeah,
everyone.
we could do that. That's not a problem. If you could
Nice,
choose all three, that's perfect. All right.
cool.
Our last question here. This should be interesting since you like tanning, kind of doing your own thing. It goes like
Mm,
this. You're on an island, your favorite island, but there is no Wi-Fi. You can only
mm.
have three things with you. What are they?
Three things. I'm on island.
You're
I
stranded
would.
on an island for a
Mm,
weekend. You can only have three things.
I would have. Oh, and that also implies like I couldn't use the phone for like listening to podcasts or like there's no Wi-Fi at all, right?
There's no
Nothing
Wi-Fi.
technology, no Wi-Fi, no technology. Bam, we out. And then I would have my book because the
Okay.
book is always. I'm not a big reader, but I'm getting into it. Like
Okay.
I'm really trying to like since the pandemic, I've been starting to pick it up. So for sure, a book would do a lot of good for me. I would if I could bring. I would bring like some nice company, like a good friend or someone I could hang out
Yeah.
with and spend time with. And I would bring, I have my book, I have my friend, um, music, because you could get that without like, no,
Yeah, I
is that
mean, you
connected?
could have a solar panel play, anything. I mean, but I
I
like
would
that
have
you
like,
say again.
I would maybe have like, could we bring like a live salsa band that plays some nice music or like,
Oh,
something
okay.
to dance with my friend. Ooh, then we could
Somebody's got
dance. I
money.
could
Somebody's
read.
got money
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
Man, that's awesome. So, live salsa band, some company, and a book. It
Company.
seems
Mm.
awesome. And honestly, I thank you so much for doing this segment. I love always doing it with my guests because get to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
We have an understanding now that you are a pretty big foodie. That besides your time dancing and rehearsing, you love tanning, you love listening to podcasts, doing runs, but just really
Mhm.
getting to understand you more as the person than just the artist. But I thank you again for doing this segment. And now it helps us
Yeah.
transition to the end of our talk today. And honestly, from start
Yeah.
to finish, I've enjoyed every last moment. Just understanding kind of your background before coming stateside, seeing really your dedication to dance as a whole, whether it's from your early youth to you doing your dance education at Broadway Dance Center, then working with Franklin Diaz, Eddie Torres, Bella, and Yamule, of course, and realizing as
Mhm.
well an artist like yourself is unique because many people would kill to have that experience you've had over the years,
Mhm.
and it's really an amazing to see the amount of artists coming in and out of Yamule time and time again, and you just being one of those special people. And honestly, I thank you so much today for appearing on the podcast. It really is a pleasure. But before we go, I would love to know if you had any last few words for myself and the audience, but
Mhm.
also contact info on how people can reach you and see
Yeah.
where you're teaching.
Yes, absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you so much, Diamond, for inviting me. This was
Absolutely.
super exciting, and I had never even thought about doing something like this before. So to get the opportunity to do it the first time with you, it was absolutely a wonderful time, and it was super fun. And I hope we could do it some other time, and yeah, get some more opportunities for this. And yeah, in terms of finding me, I'm on Instagram as Molly underscore Hagman and on Facebook, Molly Hagman. And you could probably find me on pages if you are on Instagram on all over Yamule's page and stuff like that. And yeah, that's where I'm at. And I'm local here in New York, so available for whatever might be interesting for you as privates or anything else. Just contact me and we'll have a chat.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. I mean, having over 100 plus episodes, and for me, it's really important as the Amale is an institution, talking to the dancers that impact it so much, that are teaching the future dancers really in our communities. So I appreciate you coming on and taking your time because we know as we speak, you're soon heading over to teach and practice and dance yourself.
Yeah.
So I know you're a busy woman, so I thank you again for taking your time. I thank everyone for listening who will be listening. This has been another special episode of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, episode
Yeah.
154 with the amazing Molly Hagman. Everyone have a
Thank
great
you.
everyone
Thank
have
you
a great
so
night.
much.